Hey guys, so this week we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Tortuga Setout Divide. And I have to say, even though I've only been using this for a brief period of time, I am absolutely in love with it. I think that this is a fantastic addition to Tortuga's already great collection of bags. And so Tortuga is definitely a company that knows how to make great bags. We've featured a few of their bags on the channel in the past, bags such as the Tortuga Outbreaker Travel Backpack and the Outbreaker Day Pack. And so I was super excited when I heard about the Setout Divide because of the fact that it was an expandable and compressible bag. So I absolutely love bags like that. In the past, we've had bags like the Nomadic Travel Pack and the Oppose This Invisible Carry-On, which do this really well. And I was really impressed just how well the Setout Divide compared against those bags and how well it worked as both a travel bag and a day pack. And so I don't want to drag out this intro because I'm super excited to dig into this one with you guys. So I just want to thank Tortuga for sending the bag over for me to test out. And I just want to go ahead and dive in. So let's take a closer look at the Tortuga Setout Divide. And so just starting out with the look and the overall aesthetic of the bag, I'm definitely a big fan of the minimal look that Tortuga has chosen to go with here. It definitely reminds me a lot of the Tortuga Setout carry-on bag, which is kind of the bigger brother to this backpack. I really like kind of the gray coloring that it has. It has a really solid feeling 900D heathered polyester. And as with all of their bags, they have really high quality YKK zippers. Probably the biggest complaint that I found with this bag is that I was a little bit surprised that even though the bag has these nice YKK zippers, that they don't really have a lot of weather resistance. And so the Tortuga Outbreaker, which we featured on the channel in the past, had really great kind of water guards over all their zippers to help keep water out. And this is something we've seen in other bags such as the Air Travel Pack 2. You know, just really solid water protection on all the different zippers, especially on the tech compartments. And so I was just really surprised to see that on this bag in particular, Tortuga chose to leave off the extra weather resistance. So the zippers, in my opinion, are a little bit exposed. So if you do happen to be caught in a bit of a downpour or something like that, there's a bigger chance that water might get in to some of the more sensitive areas of your bag. So not really a deal breaker there, but just a really strange omission on what is otherwise a really perfectly designed bag in my opinion. But other than that, the zippers themselves work really well. The bag itself, when empty, doesn't feel too heavy. I really like how it kind of molds to the amount of stuff that you have in your bag. And I've been really impressed with just how slim it manages to look regardless of whether it's expanded in full or whether it's collapsed. And so the bag itself, when compressed, is about 26 liters and it expands out to 34 liters. So that's a really big range of carrying capacity, which is really nice and makes this a really versatile bag if it's something that you want to use for daily use or traveling. So some of the bags that I've loved traveling with in the past have typically had a carrying capacity of between 33 and 35 liters. So at 34 liters, this is right in that sweet spot. And I'm very happy to say that I was very easily able to fit all the same items that I typically travel with for about 2 weeks. And these are all the same items that I've used in all my other travel pack videos, such as for the Air Travel Pack 2, which we did a few weeks ago. So really impressed with just how well it was able to hold all that and how well this bag works as an actual travel pack. And even when it's expanded out, as I mentioned, I really love how slim it kind of looks. So I feel like no matter where I'd be walking with this, I'd never feel like I'd be bumping into people. I feel like I'd be very easily able to navigate, you know, a crowded city or something like that. So I just really love how slim the bag ends up looking when it's fully packed out at that 33 liter capacity. And I also love that you can compress the bag down into a 26 liter bag, which is slightly bigger than what I would typically like to use for a daily carry bag, but it works really well. This isn't much bigger than other popular daily bags such as the Boundary Supply Prima system or the GoRuck GR1, the 26 liter. So there are other bags that are this size that work well as a daily bag. And so I really love that you can not only compress the bag down with the zipper, but that it also has 4 compression straps on the side to help slim the bag down, whether it's compressed or expanded, and just help keep everything in place and compress everything down a little bit more. So really versatile bag. I've really loved using it both for traveling and daily use. So this is kind of the dream bag in the sense of like I can get to my destination, take all my packing cubes and stuff out, and then compress this up and use this to walk around the city and even be able to walk into a business meeting and not feel like the bag is out of place or anything like that. So really high versatility there and definitely compares well to bags like the Nomadic Travel Pack or the Oppose This Invisible Carry-On, which have been the other bags that I felt are kind of in this same area where you can compress them down and use them both well as a day bag and as a travel pack. Continuing on with the outside of the bag, as I mentioned, it has 4 really good compression straps to help keep everything tight or to just maybe strap on a jacket or something like that. So I really like when bags have the compression straps. They always add a nice amount of versatility. The bag itself has 2 really solid feeling handles, one at the top It's got a really soft, comfortable foam. It definitely feels like this is going to be able to hold up well over the long term. And so the bag has a really comfortable handle on the side if you want to carry it like a briefcase. Same kind of thick, nice, comfortable foam, and the two handles are really very similar, so it's nice that the bag offers a lot of versatility in how you can actually carry it. One thing I noticed is that the bag seems to have two plastic straps, one on the bottom and on the top, that are on the same side as this side handle. So I imagine this would pair well with one of Tortuga's shoulder straps, which is actually not included with this bag, but if you would prefer to carry this as a shoulder bag instead of a backpack, it does have the option to add that strap using these really solid feeling plastic clips at the top and at the bottom. And then another nice touch which I noticed here is that there's actually an extra kind of loop here at the top, which is a little less thick than the actual foam handle, but this is really nice for hanging the bag on the wall if you want it to kind of sit flat against the wall. And also when I first got the bag, I actually hung this on kind of a thin hook, and I realized that the hook left a little bit of an impression on the foam. That has since expanded back out, so the handle is back to its original condition, but over the longer term I definitely feel more comfortable hanging it on this thinner loop to help keep this handle in pristine condition. Before I forget, another thing to note about the zippers is that they're actually lockable. For the laptop compartment, the main clothing compartment, and kind of the front tech accessory pocket, they all have nice little loops that allow you to lock it and help keep it safe from pickpockets. So a really nice addition there, and I think that's really important for travel bags. Continuing on with the outside of the bag, I was super excited to see that the bag has a great water bottle compartment. And as you can see here, I have the same water bottle that I've used in all my other travel bag videos, and this fits in here very easily, and I really love the overall design here. It has a nice stretchy material here that'll let you put something a little bit thicker in, and this is a great spot to put something like an umbrella. If you have something taller, it's really nice that you can pair it with the compression strap here to help keep it in place. And one of my favorite things, and I love when bags do this, is that it allows you to actually zip the water bottle compartment shut to keep it flush against the bag if you're not going to be putting anything in it, so that it doesn't pop out and it doesn't ruin the kind of sleek exterior of the bag. So really love that feature. I think it's really well implemented here. So moving on to the straps and the back paneling, this is an area where Tortuga has always shined. A little while back, I did a comparison between some of my favorite travel bags, and in that video I mentioned that of all the different travel bags I'd tried out, the Tortuga Outbreaker was the most comfortable that I'd used so far. But this is the first bag that actually gives it a run for its money. I have been super impressed with how nice this is to wear. And so the bag has this really thick, comfortable foam that feels great on your shoulders. It has a lot of holes and kind of mesh here to provide really great airflow, so as you're wearing it, it definitely allows air to come through, and I really love just how thick and padded the straps are, and I also love how wide they are, which prevents the bag from digging into your shoulders. It always feels really comfortable. I haven't felt any fatigue while wearing this with a lot of weight on it. So as with all their other bags, really great job on the straps here. They've also included an adjustable and removable sternum strap, which works really well to help balance the load on your shoulders. One thing to note about the straps as compared with bags like the Outbreaker is that Tortuga opted to leave the load lifters off. And I think that's a fine choice here, as the size of this bag doesn't really merit something like that. It never really seems to sit far away from my back. The way the straps are positioned here at the top keep the bag pretty close to my back, and I haven't felt any discomfort from not having the load lifters. And it's nice that it does prevent having so many straps on the bag. Moving on to the back paneling, as with the straps, just super comfortable here. It has this really kind of thick, comfortable foam. It also has a really nice meshy material to help prevent moisture buildup. And this just feels absolutely great on your back. It comes out nice and far and has a really good amount of elevation here to help prevent moisture buildup as you're walking around with all that weight on your back. And I really love just how thick and comfortable this padding is. I really love this extra padding that they have here near the neckline, which really helps make this bag comfortable to wear no matter how heavy it is. So I've been really impressed overall, and just glad to see that Tortuga continues to put such an emphasis on how the bag feels while you're carrying it. And so as if the bag wasn't comfortable enough already, Tortuga also includes an awesome waist strap with the bag. And so as with all the waist straps that they've included on their bags in the past, these are really nice, thick and comfortable waist straps. They have the same kind of foam meshy material that you see on the back paneling. And I really love how easy these are to get on and off. They have this kind of Velcro strap here that makes it very quick and simple. So if you're wearing it expanded with a lot of weight, you can put the straps on and walk around, and it definitely helps take some of that weight off your shoulders. And these are super comfortable. And then when you arrive at your destination, if you want to use this as a daily bag, you can easily remove them to save some of the weight and bulk. And I have to commend Tortuga for being able to include such great waist straps at such a reasonable price point. And we'll talk about the price in a little bit. And so in the past, I've expressed a lot of disappointment at companies that don't include these with the bag. And so I just think that's a great value add here. And on top of that, the fact that these are actually just some of the best waist straps that I've seen. And I also really love that they have such a great pocket on each of the waist straps. So a lot of the pockets that you see on waist straps, they're very narrow and it's kind of hard to use them for anything but like a credit card or maybe a thin wallet. But these actually have a lot of volume, so you could put something a little bit bulkier here, a granola bar. You might want to put your phone and your passport here. If you're going through TSA, you might need to grab it soon. I wouldn't recommend leaving that there as you're walking around throughout the city, as it might be kind of easy to get to these. They're not lockable or anything like that. But I really love just how much volume these pockets offer, which actually makes them pretty useful compared to a lot of the pockets that I've seen on other waist straps. So really great job with the waist straps overall. And I definitely think they help add a lot of comfort to the bag when you're having to carry a lot of different stuff with you. So the last thing I want to mention while we're here on the back panel is that the bag actually includes a pass-through for your suitcase if you want to rest this on your suitcase handle as you're walking to the airport, if you don't want to wear it on your bag. So that's a really nice addition here, and I really love just how big this opening is, so it makes it easy to fit a variety of different suitcase handles. And so another note here on the straps is that you can actually hide the straps. So they have these nice little metal clips here on the bottom, and these are very easy to remove. And so once you remove them, you can actually tuck the straps back behind this paneling here. There's a little bit of Velcro, and there's a little pocket here where you can actually hide the straps away if you need to check the bag or if you're using it with the shoulder strap or something like that. And so that's a really nice addition there. I really love how easy it is to hide and unhide the straps with this nice little clip that they've included here. One thing to note is that if you do hide the straps behind this little back paneling here, that does take up space from the suitcase pass-through. So I found that it's hard to both hide the straps and use the suitcase pass-through at the same time. It kind of causes a little bit of chaos in there. So just a small thing to note, but definitely not a big deal. And so just diving into the pockets of the bag, I really love how much organization the bag provides, especially because you might want to use this as a daily bag. So it's really nice that it has a lot of thoughtful features that will make it good for both uses. And so just starting out with this pocket here on the front, this is a very simple, quick access compartment here. There's not a lot going on. It has a really nice YKK zipper. As I mentioned earlier, it's really unfortunate that all these kind of pockets are a little bit exposed to the elements, so you just have to be a little bit careful with what you're putting in there if you do expect some rain to be coming. But the pocket here is really simple. It doesn't have any internal organization or anything like that, but it is kind of the perfect size to fit something like a Kindle, which is what I currently have here. You can probably put a notebook in there, or maybe your documents if you need to get through TSA or something like that and you just want to put them in quickly. So I really love when bags have this kind of quick access compartment on the front here. And so the pocket itself is not that deep. It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. I wish it was a little bit longer just to kind of provide a little bit more space here. But it's really nice to just have this ability to grab something really quickly. Moving on to the front kind of tech accessory compartment. This is where probably most of the organization for your electronics will be. And so I really like that this compartment, as I mentioned earlier, is lockable. And it has a top opening compartment here. So it doesn't open all the way down, but the compartment does have capacity all the way to the bottom. So this is actually a pretty deep pocket that goes from the top all the way to the bottom of the bag. And so it can get a little bit tricky to reach some of the items that are on the bottom when the bag is completely full with like your clothes and things like that. It'd be nice if this zipper maybe came down a little bit further to make it easier to reach or pack this bottom portion of the bag. But it's really nice that the compartment goes that deep. It definitely allows you to fit a lot of extra stuff. And this is definitely a big feature when you're using this as a daily bag, to have this kind of capacity here on this front accessory compartment. So as I mentioned, a lot of organization on this compartment. The first thing I'll call out here is you'll notice that I'm traveling with my BagSmart cable organizer. And so recently I've been using the GoRuck wire dop a lot, but I found that it didn't fit quite as well in this compartment as in some of the other ones that I'd been using. So I just switched to the BagSmart cable organizer, which I've always enjoyed using. And I also kind of like how well the colors matched with the heathered gray of the Setout Divide, so just a little bit of an added bonus there. But this is where I have some of my smaller accessories, and I've done a full video for this in the past, so I'll make sure to include that if you want to check out all the different items that are in this compartment. And so even though the bag has a lot of slots for smaller accessories, I still like to keep them in an organizer like this, which makes it very easy to just kind of take out of my bag if I want to put this in the overhead compartment and just have this with me during the flight. But moving on to the actual internal organization of the bag, as I mentioned, I was able to squeeze a good amount of stuff down at the bottom of the bag. This is where I kind of put my bulkier items that I want to carry in this compartment. And so currently what I have in here is my Ray-Ban sunglasses. I've recently been experimenting with some of these foldable Wayfarers, which have been really cool. So definitely have enjoyed using these. And then down below, I also have my BluePot portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank. And then the last item that I have here near the bottom is my GoPro Hero 3 Plus. So really love how much space is there at the bottom and the fact that it allows me to have some bulkier items. So it's nice that the compartment has a little bit of volume. It's not super slim, which is great. So moving on to this kind of organizational panel that it has here, there's a few different slip pockets. The first one here is this kind of black elastic pocket, which in the past, it seems like Tortuga's used this for something like sunglasses or something a little bit more delicate. I don't really use this compartment for anything at the moment. As you saw, my sunglasses are in a hard case, so they don't really fit there. But this would be a great spot to maybe put if you don't have a case for your sunglasses, you could put them there. You could put something more delicate like a portable hard drive or Apple Magic Mouse or something. Next to that, there's a few different slip pockets. Very simple. These are pretty thin. This would be a great spot for maybe some documents or business cards or something like that. Currently in one of the slip pockets, I have my Apple Magic Mouse. And so that's a bit of a tight fit. One thing about these kind of 3 slip pockets on top of each other is it's hard to use all 3. So once you have something bulkier in one of them, the other ones get very tight. So you kind of have to pick and choose which ones you want to use. And that's kind of the case with any bag that has pockets on top of each other like this. So there's a few different ways that you can configure it, and it just really depends how you like to organize your stuff. I really just like to use the one at the back, which is probably the biggest one. It has the most volume, and that's where my Apple Magic Mouse fits in the most comfortably. Next up, there's another kind of larger slip compartment, which in Tortuga's promotional video, this is where you can put your passport, and it's perfect size for my field notes, which is what I currently have in here. But it is a perfect size to put your travel documents or maybe something like a thinner portable battery or maybe a portable hard drive. So a lot of versatility here. I really love these kind of larger slip pockets that bags have. And then next to that, there's a few slots for pencils or styluses or things like that. So currently what I have in here is my titanium spork from Tokes. And then I also have just a simple pen. And sometimes I might carry a stylus with me, but really nice organizational options offered there. Next up, there is a larger compartment here that is perfectly sized to hold something like a full-size Moleskine notebook. Currently what I have in here is my iPad mini 2. So this didn't actually fit in the front quick access compartment, so this was a better spot for it. And I also like that this sleeve is a little bit more padded than the front compartment. It's not super padded, but it offers just a little bit of padding there. The compartment doesn't have any sort of felt lining or anything like that to prevent scratching, but it's still a nice compartment. I like that it's elevated off the floor, and I like that it helps keep the tablet a little bit more protected than it would otherwise be just floating around in this compartment. The last pocket here is a small zipper compartment that is great for holding smaller accessories that you don't want floating around the bag. And so currently what I have here is just my lightning charger for my phone. But this would be a great spot to put headphones or USB sticks or maybe SD cards that you don't want falling out. So just a really simple pocket. It goes to about the middle of where all these slip pockets are. So it goes down to kind of the middle section of where this bag ends. And this is just a really simple zipper compartment. It doesn't have any sort of felt lining, but just a really great way to help keep those smaller items separated and a little bit more organized. The last item I want to mention here in the organizational compartment is this really nice clip that Tortuga has included to put your keys. And so this is the same clip that they actually use on the backpack straps to help keep them attached to the bag. So it's just a really high quality feeling clip. It's really solid metal. And I really love how easy it is in this case to kind of open and close the clip, which makes it really easy if you need to get to your keys quickly. Currently what I have in here is just my Gerber Shard, but if I was walking around the city, I'd definitely put my keys in here to keep them out of my pocket. And overall, I just really love the attention to detail and the fact that Tortuga included such a high quality clip here as opposed to kind of the flimsy plastic clips that are a little bit harder to use that we've seen on some of the other bags we've looked at in the channel. So really great job here. Next up, I want to talk about the laptop compartment. And so this is another compartment that's lockable. And as I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, the zipper himself doesn't really have as much weather resistance as I would have liked to see. But the compartment itself does a good job of providing security with the fact that it's lockable. And I really like how easy it is to actually access your laptop. It's a nice top loader. I really love the fact that the laptop and tablet sleeves here are elevated off the ground to help keep your laptop safe if you put your bag down or if you drop it or something like that. And so at the moment, with the bag so full in the main compartment, it takes up a little bit of the volume from this space. So typically, if the bag wasn't as full, I imagine I could probably fit a few folders down here, like a thin magazine or something. If I was using this for daily use, this might be a good spot to keep some of my papers or stuff that I would be working on. But other than that, the laptop fits in here comfortably at the moment. It has this really nice kind of Velcro strap to help keep the laptop in place. And first up, it has this kind of separate sleeve here that would be great for a full-size tablet. You can definitely fit, either an iPad Pro or a regular size iPad here. The sleeve itself, as I mentioned, is elevated, but it doesn't really have any sort of padding. There's no felt lining on the front or the back, so it really is just a spot to keep your tablet separated from your primary device. And speaking of the laptop sleeve, I really like the implementation here. The sleeve itself is pretty well padded, and I really love my laptops off the ground. As you can see here, there's plenty of space for at least a 15-inch laptop. Currently what I have in here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar, and so that fits in there very comfortably, but you could definitely fit up to a 15-inch laptop. I really like that the compartment comes out a good amount, so if you have a wider laptop, that should definitely be able to fit in here as well. And I do wish that the compartment had kind of a softer felt lining, such as the Outbreaker did. I really loved how the laptop compartment was implemented on the Tortuga Outbreaker. I still think that this does a good job of keeping your laptop safe. And as I mentioned, I really like how easy and quick it is to access, especially if you need to go through TSA or something like that. So really good implementation there overall. So moving on to the main compartment, since this is a travel bag, I was really happy to see that this does open flat like a suitcase. So in order to get into the bag, we want to open the compression straps on the sides, and then we can lay the bag down. This compartment is also lockable, so that's great to see. And then you can open the bag up. As I mentioned, it opens nice and wide. You can see everything at once, which makes packing really easy. And I really love how well this main compartment is laid out here. So you have kind of this open compartment that has a compression strap, and then a separate area that's separated out by this mesh divider here, which we'll take a look at in a second. But I was really impressed with just how well I was able to fit everything in the bag. Considering that the bag was a compressible bag and kind of a hybrid, sometimes those bags have to compromise and don't work quite as well for providing the right amount of space in the main compartment, but I was glad to see that I didn't have to adjust my packing style at all. Everything fit very easily, the same way as I've packed it in other bags. So really impressive there. I really love how easy it was to pack everything out. So just starting out here, I really love that they include this compression strap, just a really solid buckle with a nice kind of seatbelt-like material. And so this definitely helps keep everything kind of in its place. It helps compress everything down just to get a little bit more space for anything that I have that might be sticking up a little bit. So I really love when bags have these straps, because you can choose not to use them if you don't want to, but I definitely love being able to use them to help kind of just get as much space as possible and compress everything down even more than I already have in the packing cube. So really nice addition there. Really easy to open this clip up. And so as I mentioned earlier, the items that I have here are the same ones that I've had in all my other travel bag videos. And so the first thing that I have here are my Toms. Never go anywhere without those. And then I also have my large double-sided packing cube that has my jeans and my dress shirts and things like that. That fits in there very comfortably. And so here you can see that this main compartment is very simple. It doesn't have all the kind of smaller zippered compartments that the Tortuga Outbreaker had. It's just a lot simpler and allows you to use the space however you want, which I really love. And so I think this is a big improvement over something like the Outbreaker. I think it's a lot easier to pack with packing cubes in this bag, and I think it manages to provide you with a lot more space. So really impressive job there. And so moving on to the other side, I really love that this is mesh, so you can see what's in this pocket, and it also provides a good amount of ventilation if you happen to want to separate your stuff out by dirty and clean clothes. So that's not what I've done here. I still just kind of separate it out into packing cubes and shoes and then some more clothes. But I really love the ability to keep things separate, which makes it a little bit easier to go through my bag as I'm at my destination. And so just really solid feeling zipper here, really nice thick feeling mesh material, which definitely feels like it's gonna hold up well. And so I was impressed at how much volume you get out of this compartment. So this is actually the compartment that expands out. When you use the expansion zipper, when you expand this out to its 34-liter capacity, this is the area that expands and contracts. And so I have this fully expanded at the moment. And so I was really happy to be able to fit some of my bulkier items in here. And so currently what I have in this compartment is my Beats Solo Wireless 2. And typically I wouldn't travel with these headphones if I was trying to conserve space, just with how bulky they are. Typically I just use my AirPods. But sometimes for a longer trip, it's nice to know that I do have the ability to fit this in here if I needed to, with just how much space is offered in this compartment. So really nice bonus there. I also have my in-case accessory pouch that I've been using as my DOP kit recently. I really love just how kind of small and simple this is, so that definitely helps to save space. Next up, I have my flat Converse-like shoes. These are the Penguin Chillers, which fit in here really nicely. I really love traveling with this sort of versatile kind of casual sneaker. And then the last thing I have here is my smaller packing cube that I use for my socks and t-shirts and things like that. So that fits in here very easily as well. And so just looking at this mesh area, when empty, as you can see, it's just a very simple compartment. It's just kind of a big bucket where you can organize everything as you want. There's no internal organization or zippers in here. It's just so they just kept it very simple, which I always prefer, as it allows me to maximize the space that I can use to pack. And so now that the bag is empty, we can go ahead and compress it. And so Typically what I'll do is I'll just zip that compartment up to prevent it from flapping around. It's very easy to compress the bag down. It has this really nice zipper, and you can see here just how much of a space difference it is when you actually compress it down. So you have this full width of fabric here. And so that's what we're gonna compress down with the zipper that goes all the way around the bag. And so when I arrive at my destination, I just take everything out of this main compartment, as I don't want to travel with my clothes while I'm walking around the city just exploring. But it's nice that I still have plenty of space if I need to carry some camera gear with me. And then I can also use the main organizational compartment on the front, as well as the laptop compartment, to just carry all the essentials that I need for my day-to-day, or if I'm traveling for work, that's where I'd probably have all my work items. So I think Tortuga has really done a great job delivering an awesome bag that's going to work well for tons of different people. And so overall, I've been super impressed with the Tortuga Setout Divide during the brief time that I've been able to test it out, and I'm really excited to continue using this for a lot of trips going forward. As I mentioned during the video, it is a super comfortable bag to wear. I love the style and the size, and I've just been really happy with how well it's worked as both a travel bag and as a daily bag. And so you can purchase the Setout Divide bag from Tortuga's site for about $179, which in my opinion is an awesome deal. I was really impressed when I saw the price point on this bag. And so I think this is a great price considering just how good a quality the bag is, how many different features it has, the fact that it has the same kind of padded back panel that so many of Tortuga's more expensive bags have. And on top of that, it's just a great price compared to a lot of the other bags that are in this same kind of category that we've looked at in the past. So really fantastic value here at the $179 price point. It's really surprising to me that a bag this great can cost under $200, especially when it includes the really awesome padded waist straps that this bag includes, as well as all the other features that it comes with. And so a few other bags that we've looked at in the past on the channel that compare pretty well to this bag are bags like the Nomadic Travel Pack. And that one cost about $220, or maybe a little bit under $200 if you're able to get it with one of the coupon codes. And that's been one of my favorite bags to use in the past. That's kind of that mixture of travel bag and daily bag. And it's still a bag that I love to use a lot. I do like the fact that this bag is a little bit bigger when expanded out, so I'm able to travel longer term with this one. I also think that the harness system is more comfortable on this bag. So this is really the first bag that I've seen that can really give it a run for its money as far as being a mixture between daily bag and travel bag. And on top of that, it's at an even lower price point, and it also includes the really great waist straps. So really tough choice between those two bags there. Another bag that this reminds me of is the invisible carry-on from Oppose This, which is a little bit closer in size. So that bag, when compressed, is about 24 liters, and when expanded is 33 liters versus the 26 and 34 liters of the Setout Divide. So really similar dimensions and kind of the same idea of being able to compress and expand and use both for daily use and traveling. And so I've loved using that bag as well, and that's definitely a tough choice. That bag's a little bit more expensive. It's between $230, $240 if I'm remembering correctly, and it's a really great and versatile bag. I do think that at $179, this is a little bit better value. On top of the fact that it includes the waist strap, the Oppose This invisible carry-on doesn't actually have the capacity to use a waist strap. And so the overall style of that bag and look maybe works a little bit better for daily use than the Setout Divide. But as a whole package, I still think the Setout Divide is a slightly better value. And even though the bags aren't exactly similar, this bag reminded me a little bit of the Air Travel Pack 2, which we featured on the channel a little while back. And that bag doesn't quite compress and expand in the same way that this does, so it's not as good for daily use as the Tortuga Setout. And so the Air Travel Pack has been one of my favorites for a long time, and I think they did a really good job on the Travel Pack 2. But I've been really impressed that when it's expanded, the Setout Divide is actually able to hold the same amount of stuff that the travel pack can. So it just helps reemphasize that point of how good this bag works as a travel pack. And it's amazing that it has the added bonus of being able to contract into a daily bag, and the fact that it's also a little bit less expensive than the travel pack. With regards to the Setout Divide and the Air Travel Pack, probably the main difference that I'd want to call out is the fact that the travel pack does seem to have a little bit better protection against the elements. So all the zippers on the travel pack have those nice aqua guards, which has been really the only main issue, as I mentioned during the video, that I was able to find with this bag. So if that's not a major concern, I think this is going to be the best bag for most people that are looking for something really versatile at a good price point and that's going to last a long time. The only other bag I would mention, which is a bag that I haven't actually featured on the channel, is the Tortuga Setout, which is kind of the bigger brother to this bag, as we mentioned a few times during the video. And although I haven't tried that out, I've heard really great things about that bag. And if you're somebody who really likes to take a lot of extra stuff on your trip and you want something with just a little bit more capacity, I definitely recommend checking that out if you think this bag is going to be too small for you. And so overall, I've just been really impressed with the Tortuga Setout Divide, and I'm really excited to continue using it for many trips going forward. I want to go ahead and thank Tortuga again for sending the bag for me to test out. And if you guys found this video useful, please go ahead and give us a like below. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and thank you guys so much.